Wow. So yesterday I found out a new council skate park had been built about 15 minutes from my house, so decided to drive out here today and check it out. As you can see, it is incredibly small and random. It's just basically placed on the top of a hill in some wasteland. Normally council skate parks are like in a public park or by playing fields or whatever, but this just seems to be kind of dropped in the middle of nowhere on the top of a hill in this tiny town called Kilysth. So gonna skate here for an hour, try and get some clips, try and aim for 20 tricks in an hour. Is that adventurous? I don't know. But yeah, got a day off from work, so thought I'd make the most of it, try and get some exercise, and yeah, see what I can get. So I went to Rennie Road Skatepark, I think it was yesterday in Kilsyth. Before I went there and I saw images online, I had all these ideas of just cruising around this tiny little bowl, just doing loads of long grinds, carving around, you know, just grinding as far as I could, skating the mellow transitions, maybe even do a little bit of, you know, couple of spins, maybe even a 540 over the box, be adventurous for a 38-year-old. The very first moment I dropped in for the first time on the transition, all those ideas instantly evaporated out of my mind. It's one of those things that, you know, when you get there, you've got all these ideas in your head and then the reality is just completely different. The transitions are maybe 3 foot high, 4 foot high, an absolute stretch, but they were really steep, like surprisingly steep. So you drop in and you get this instant burst of speed, but then as soon as you hit the flat, it just instantly kills it and slows you down straight away. So I was dropping in, pumping as hard as I could, but because the transition is so like short and small, you would just like slow down straight away and then have to basically skate as hard as you could to get to the next transition. And you could see just doing a 360 over that box, I cleared it by about that max. Which just made it really difficult to speed to skate. And it meant that quite a lot of the time I was so focused on just getting enough speed to like grind round the coping that I'd be like shooting over it and just absolutely eating shit. Also, I was definitely the first person to ever wax it because it still had all the kind of dust from the concrete and like, you know, dried in concrete on the coping. And grinding it, when I was sliding on it, it felt like I was grinding a ledge. Like it would just make this like gritty noise. So in the hour, that was basically all I managed to get. I didn't want to get too adventurous or try anything, you know, technical or risky because just doing basic stuff was proven to be a bit of a struggle. But yeah, apparently the council spent like £65,000 on it, which it's an interesting design. You know, it's better than just your standard, most council skate parks. It's just, you know, you get a quarter pipe, a bank, a box, and something to grind like a P-rail or a coping box or something like that. So it was quite interesting that they made this cool little bowl and the idea was good. When I showed a video to my friend, he was basically like, it just looks like a giant sink. And yeah, it pretty much does just look like a giant sink. There are far worse skate parks out there. In fact, there are far worse skate parks in the local area. I know because I've been to all of them. Some of them have like quarter pipes that just go straight into bushes, or rails that go into each other, or bowls that are basically just giant bins. Um, but in Scotland, we're kind of spoiled with outdoor concrete parks or outdoor council parks because there's just amazing ones everywhere. There's a really nice one, maybe a 10-minute drive from mine, called Mulgai Skate Park. Even closer to that, there's one in Kirkintilloch, which has got some old school bowls in it. And then there's Kelvin Grove Skate Park in Glasgow's West End. And there is, God, what else is there? There's Rook and Glen Skate Park, which is just south of the city. So we're kind of spoiled for choice. Yeah, the one I went to yesterday, it's all right. It's one of those ones that you would visit once just to see what it's like and experience it. And then I doubt I would ever go back. Maybe if we were going street skating in the area, we might go there to warm up the legs a little bit. But yeah, it's even one of those ones that if it was your local skate park, I don't think you would use it that much. Like, I don't think the local kids are going to get much benefit out of it, because if you're riding it on skates or a scooter or a BMX or a skateboard, the steep transitions are going to make it really difficult to learn on. And a little kid who's just, starting out or just trying to figure out transitions is probably going to slam a lot on them, because the transitions were quite unforgiving. And there was a few times I almost get caught out by them just going up them. So I'd imagine someone that isn't used to skating ramps would probably just eat shit a bunch of times on it. There was also no decking at the top. They had like the skinniest platform, which was about this. So you just had to like push 1 foot round it, because you couldn't stand on the concrete or like the gravel outside it, because it was all wet and like gungy and mucky. So it would just mess up your bearings and wheels and make your wheels really slippy on the transition. So yeah, it was all right for a little day trip, but it's probably not something I would go back to. To round things out, here are a bunch of clips of me absolutely decking it.
Hey.